Welcome back. Today I'd like to bring you my autumn TBR. So in the autumn I actually read 11 books, which is really good for me, but there were a couple of novellas in there. And I started actually back in August, to be fair, with quite a chunky one that I finished in early autumn. And this is Assassin's Quest. This is book 3 of Farseer, which is part of the Realm of the Oldlings. And my review's already up for this, so you probably already know how I feel about this. And I followed that up with another book in a series. This is the second book in the First Law series, and this is Before They Are Hanged. A very good book, and my review for this will be coming shortly. And this then transitioned me into early September when I began my spooky season, or my seasonal reads, with this, The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is quite a short book, but very enjoyable. And this was a really good transition from summer into the spookier season, because this does deal with that transition in the book, and it is set on a desert island, so I thought it worked quite well at that. I then went to my next spooky read, which was another kind of September style read, I think, Pines by Blake Crouch, which is a thriller, a little bit of a change for me. Don't read too many of these, usually like to insert one here or there. Really good book, really good page turner as well. Doesn't take too long, it's about 300 pages, that one. And then I went for something a bit more classic, Call of Cthulhu, so a more, turn of the century style. Read this one, a short one. This is actually a collected stories one here, but again, great for the season. I then had a bit of break in play from the spooky reads, and though I didn't really announce this, I read Malice in the middle of my spooky season to really beef it out, because some of these books were shorter. And yeah, I found this really, really entertaining, and a review of this will definitely be coming probably sometime in November. This is Salem's Lot, my first Stephen King read, and I know it's a terrible thing to say, but I wasn't really big into reading as a younger man, so I finally got to Stephen King. Salem's Lot was fantastic. This was great to read before Halloween kicked off, and my review for this is already up, so you already know how I feel about this. Then I followed it with an extended works. So this is the extended version of Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. This is Frozen Hell. Fantastic read. May not be the easiest to find, but if you can, I definitely recommend reading this version of the book. I then read a novella, The Great God Pan, and this was spooky season starting to kind of wind down and wrap up at this point, and I knew I was on the last legs, and I needed something to kind of fill the time, and this had become highly recommended, and it was actually an excellent read. Well, I closed spooky season on Halloween with Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, and this is a book that surprised me with its content, but it was also a very entertaining read and comes recommended. And then basically I haven't read that much else since then, because it did take me about 3 weeks to read this book, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, and I will have a review coming for this. It's obviously very, very long, but I will say this is a worthwhile read, and I'm very glad that I read this before I put into action my winter reading plans. And that's everything I read in the autumn. I'd love to know what you guys have been reading. It's kind of why I started the channel, the hope to hear what other people are reading, hear some suggestions and some discussions. So if you guys would like to share what you read in the autumn, I'd be really interested to find out.